Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Going Vocal. Today we're going to be discussing a very interesting story or issues that have been occurring here in India. That is the murder of men who are married, newly married men by their wives. So India has been experiencing an exponential rise in the murder of men who have been recently married by women who may be confused or maybe unsure. So that's what we'll be exploring here. What causes this kind of issues to occur? In fact, it's been found that I think there's been 100 or 120% increase in the number of murders by women comparatively to men. So on the panel, I have Anupam, whom you are well aware of. Many of you have seen our previous videos. Hemant, Suresh, and Shaji. So I think I don't have to introduce any of the panelists to those who have viewed our videos before. So yeah, we'll go straight off to Anupam. Anupam, what do you think are the social issues that are affecting us as a nation, wherein there's been such an exponential increase in the number of murders of young married men by their
So hello everyone. Thanks Rahul for the question. I think these days what's happening is men are worried to be on the first place because there are lots of crimes that are happening which we generally tag them as crimes of passion because of the love affairs between the two people, and mostly we have seen the recent past, and I think in the recent 1 year we have seen a lot of crime that has happened uh, against men by their wives, newly married wives, and I think there's a change or shift of cultural shift that we are seeing right now, where I think there are many reasons. One of the reasons can be gender neutrality that we are going towards. We are saying that even not even male or female, everyone is equal these days, and that equal opportunities are given to both of them. So I think because of these issues, women are trying to be more proactive in the relationship, and because of this and the social influence that we have in the teenagers or maybe young members of our societies, all these things are really affecting the mindset of people these days, where they are trying to achieve. I think all those things are superficial, where we see in movies, and then people have access to multiple languages, movies, then different cultural, with Netflix coming up, Prime Videos, and all those series coming up, where there's a mix of, I would say, a mix of dramas, maybe then Korean series. I think these things are really jumbling the minds of young people in our country, and these things are really turning into crimes that we are seeing right now. We have seen in the case of Sonam Raghuwanshi, where she, after 2 or 3 days, she killed her husband with her past affair, the other person, and I don't know, because these things are really happening even I think very frequently, and just see after within a week all these things has happened. So these are previously, it was, I think it's a well planned crime, and these crimes needs to be investigated at a deeper level, and that is why we are here to discuss on these points, because news will tell you what things have happened, but we need to understand deeper why these things are happening and try to analyze these things into deeper.
Sorry for disturbing you. In fact,
Yeah.
they're saying that every 32 minutes a young woman is murdering a newly wedded young woman is murdering her husband in India. With the population that we have, every 32 minutes at least one is happening. I don't know if those statistics are correct or if they're fabricated, but they anyway show that the large number of such events occurring.
Yes, and I think the main reason is the cultural shift, and then again we can talk about humanitarian ground, where people are not worrying about the emotions of their or their families. They are just very, very secluded with their own emotions, and they want their emotions to be at first place rather than thinking about other people. and where this is a different, completely different shift of culture. Because as Indians, we are always told and taught that we have to worry about other emotions as well. We have to be sympathetic, empathetic towards others, and these things are really going down the road because of these crimes that we are seeing right now. And I think there can be some conditions on where people can have their own thoughts and reasons for their own worries. But I think killing is not a reason. Simply saying that, taking a stand before marriage, I think that's the best thing they can do, so that many lives can be saved.
Right.
We are saying that India's population is growing, but India's population will decline at a moment, because we have seen that this is the right opportunity for us to create youth which values culture and also values others' emotions as well. And if these things continue to happen, I think this will really um, put us in the bad picture. And if youth is not strong, their values and emotions are not, they are not able to control their values, emotions, and their thoughts, it will be a very difficult time for India, because India has to grow, India has to become a developed nation. So these things has to be understood at a deeper level, why these things are happening. Basically, I
Right,
think
right.
the
What
first thing,
we'll do is
yeah,
we'll ask Suresh, who has a
okay,
young son who married, I think 7 or 8 months back, if I'm not
yes,
mistaken, about less than a year, I believe. And
Seven
possibly
months.
still need 8 months,
7 months.
7 months. So possibly he's going to be a grandfather in another year or so. So he's the first person to tell us about the generation gap that might be affecting our culture. The Indian culture has a certain set of values, and like any culture in the world, any culture in the world has its own set of values. And Indian culture has a highly distinct set of values, different from most of the other parts of the world, other than maybe Pakistan or Arab there is a kind of distinctness about our culture, tradition, ancient traditions that are involved in our cultural fabric. We'd like to see how Suresh can, how do you feel that cultural issues are affecting the minds of the youth today? So what do you think?
Okay,
What do you
good.
think of cancel cultures from what it was during your days, your early days, and how it is today? How do you think that is instigating the minds of these young girls and affecting their emotions and things like that?
Good evening, all. I fully endorse with what Anubhav has said. The reasons for the increasing number of crimes, especially among the women, be it wife or mother or daughter, there is no hesitation for doing crimes once committed by the male fraternity. There are several reasons, as you, Rahul sir, rightly said. The cultural generation gap, that is one aspect. As you rightly said, I am 63-year-old. So during my younger days, we value the elders' advices, be it father, mother, or uncle, or any elder people. When they say anything, when they spoke to us, we heard it with utmost care and discipline. Even in the case of marriages, it was parents' decision that survived in the past. The parents will decide whom his or her daughter should marry. The daughter simply acknowledges the bridegroom and accept the marriage. I did not say that it is fully correct, because even nowadays the daughter has also a word in taking a decision. In my days, that means 35 years ago, the bridegroom will not go to the bride's home for the engagement, what you call betrothal. It was forbidden. In my case, that was happened in 1991. Only 6 elders from my family went to the bride's residence and arranged the marriage. Nowadays, the betrothal ceremony is also like a wedding ceremony. A lot of people assemble, bride and bridegroom sit together and exchange rings. So the generation gap is there. But when I spoke to my son and describing these cultural changes, he is not at all interested, because he suddenly replies that it was your time. We are living in our time. When I said to him that my father used to give me 2 rupees a day for my daily course, for drinking tea, coffee, or food or snacks while going to school or college. Nowadays, when my son was studying in college, I gave him 100 rupees a day. So I got only 2 rupees a day. And nowadays, he got when during my period, there was little recreation for us. To the most extent, we can go to a cinema. Nowadays, the present generation can go to shopping mall, beaches, high star hotels, and have food. In our days, these facilities were not available. Even if it was available, there was no money for us. So there was a huge change, cultural as well as generation changes happening. So the new generation children are not at all worried about what their parents struggled, or they are not keen to listen to our hardships. They simply live in their present age. The parents will give them money and they will spend lavishly. This
Do you think that's the case? Do you think that perhaps the inflationary issues, as well as more and more consumerism, that is more and more products that are available nowadays, that they have brought in a real change to society, where we cannot compare ancient, the past years and today's years, and how it influences the minds of these young youth?
Definitely. In my days, there was no landline telephone in my house, no television. We cannot think about mobile phone. So it was a sea change happened in India as far as consumerism is concerned. I think if you go to Lulu Mall, you will get everything under one umbrella. So in my days, if you want to buy groceries, you have to go to grocery shop. If you want to buy vegetables, you have to go to another vegetable shop. If you want to watch movie, you have to go to the movie theater. These facilities are now available in one umbrella under one umbrella in Lulu Mall. So the consumerism, the liberalization, all have contributed to these facts. The great luxury we had during my days is going to a movie or reading a book from the library, detective novels. These are the two luxuries we had during our time. But our children now live in a digital world. Everything they can purchase through their mobile phone. So they watch foreign movies. They are influenced by social media, Instagram, everything. So that's
definitely fantastic. So we get to tend to feel that there's technological changes and things like that have also influenced the minds of the youth, and as well as being incapable at to handle those cultural variations that have been there.
One thing I want to add: some girls are misusing this gender equality. In the name of gender equality, there are several women filing false complaint against men in police and courts, because they are they are well studied that the rules are in favor of women. So some of them misuse these laws. That we have to take into mind.
Right. Okay, Hemant, I would like to ask you about jealousy as an emotion. How envy and jealousy is affecting the minds of the youth. is there any kind of ways that we can train envy away, or at least minimize it, or make it productive? Or do you feel that these murders have any kind of relation to the emotion known as jealousy?
Good evening. And yes, we are now seeing a very disturbing trend where either before marriage or after marriage, girls killing their lovers. So in fact, India all along, we used to find dowry deaths, where the woman was always subjected to torture, and in some cases also murder. And then, of course, drunken husbands beating up their wives. So we used to hear about all this, but of late, probably I think about 1 or 2 years ago, we had a case in Kerala where a female lover killed her male lover, that is before marriage. And now recently this Raghuwanshi case where the wife killed her husband during the honeymoon by hiring
I told you
killers.
32 murders a day. When we look at
Yes.
the average, what's the
Yes,
statistics
exactly.
are claiming?
Claiming. So that is something
So
very
the-
alarming. And
I mean,
it's
a
very
murder
alarming.
every 30 minutes. Sorry, yes.
Yes, please, yes. So I think one thing is technology and consumerism has brought a sense of the emotional quotient, the emotional stability is lacking today in females. So they, of course, times have changed. All these women are working, so they are all.
You think it's only in females, like in the case of Sonam Raghuwanshi? I wouldn't be surprised if her lover was also very jealous. Maybe the jealousy of her lover might be an inspiration to her. We are
So could
speculating, but yes.
Yes.
So
Definitely. The other also would have been jealous, and also the second thing which is very important to note is, I think, communication. This girl, if she was really in love with that other person, then she should have told her parents, and she should have disagreed to that arranged marriage. She should have said, "I am loving this person, so even if you disagree or not, I love him and I am going to marry him." But somewhere
do you think
down the line,
social constraints that we discussed earlier on, the social conditions may have, especially in the Indian
Definitely.
perspective, may have caused.
definitely. Yes, because right from childhood, especially this particular girl, I think she was from some small town. She was hailing from a small town in North India, if I'm correct. So
I think
definitely-
UP, Bihar or UP,
UP,
yes.
UP. So probably that could have been an influence on her. She would have not dared to go against her parents' wishes as far as the arranged marriage was concerned. So, but heart of hearts inside, she actually didn't want this marriage, but she decided to go ahead. So probably she would have already pre-planned. She would have probably told herself that let me go ahead with this marriage, and then I will make a plan to murder this guy. So as you rightly said, yes, emotional disturbance, the stability is not there. Emotional stability is not there. Commitment is also not there. In this case, of course, I think she really didn't want to go for this
Irrational
marriage.
commitment was there.
Yes, she was more.
An
She was
irrational form of
committed to.
commitment to her lover.
Yes. She was committed to liquidate or eliminate her husband, and she was committed in that. But that stability, that clarity of thought is not there. So that could be because of consumerism, technology. Then, of course, in the professional life also, there is tremendous competition. So that all this really affects your mental clarity. So contentment, lack of contentment. Yes, and of course the cultural differentiation, in the sense, girls today, many of them, except maybe for the metros, many of them are caught between two worlds. They don't want to go against their parents, but at the same time they want to be modern and go for relationships.
Right.
So I think so assertive communication, I think, is very important. The girls need to be assertive. Everyone has got his own right to live.
And like you say, assertiveness does not mean rude. Like we've always mentioned earlier on,
Correct.
That's not being rude or nasty, but just taking a stance and being firm on your stance. that this
Exactly.
is not what I
Yeah.
want. If she had taken that
Yes.
firm stance, perhaps we could have had Mr. Raja Raghuwanshi alive and, two families decimated by her actions, not being
Exactly.
destroyed like she did. And she
Exactly.
herself destroyed her own life because I believe she's only
Exactly.
25 years old, actually. So she has a
Exactly.
long time ahead of her and she has destroyed her life. And even if she comes out of 20 years, out of jail in 20 years or 15 to 20 years, I really doubt she has much of a life when she does come out. So, she has completely destroyed everything that is there for her. Has Shaji left us? Or is there some technical issue or something? Okay, we'll get back to Shaji. I think I had a question for Shaji. I think there must be some issue there. So, yes, we'll discuss the issue of social media. Okay, I'll throw it onto the open panel. We'll wait for Shaji. We'll ask him his opinions on emotions and things like that. But for now, we'll discuss the issue of the modern world we have today and effects of social media on this. Because much of the youth they have two worlds, like you said, two worlds exist. In social media, they see a vast number of cultures across the global village. But at home, they come back and then they see a traditional kinds of viewpoints, especially when it comes to sexuality, marriage, and things like that. Highly traditional kinds of viewpoints that exist at home. So, do you feel that social media, not only with these views that exist, but also with the capability of instant communication against, over large borders, do you feel that it's affecting the minds of these guys, people? What is your opinion? Oh, it's open to the panel. You guys can
Okay,
let us know. Let us.
yes, I would like to comment on this, Rahul. Yes, I think these things are really happening because of the social interactions that we have. Like you said, people watch and meet a different people of different culture across globes, and they have ways of interacting with the technology that we have, and then they come to their home, and then they see the cultural differences. I think then it starts building slowly and gradually the frustration in the youth, and then they try to fight against it. And I think these things, because of these things, there are some the minds are completely different, and they think of doing things which is not allowed legally as well, and also not anyway it's not good, or maybe morally it's not good. So these things are happening, and I feel this is one of the main reasons of things that are happening in our society, because as parents we want good for our kids, but then they see things which and I think we cannot control this. The unfortunate thing is we cannot control. I think the best thing is, like Hemant said, we have to be open up. We have the kids or youth have to open up with their parents or the guardians with whom they are living, and share their thoughts, and go deeper into their thinking, because when we have some MBAs and those things, when those examinations are taken, we really, the people of the management are tested on the basis of critical thinking. So critical thinking is I think is a main tool which everyone should be aware of. Why instead just
If you look at that
look
lady
into
who's planning,
people? Yes, right.
she seems to lack critical thinking, or at least the
Yes.
photographs, the media
Sir.
do
Maybe
give the worst photographs.
yes. Maybe in case of Raja Raghuwanshi as well, I think critical thinking was missing, because they had thought that they will get away very easily with this, but it was a huge crime. Murdering someone is the big crime, and these kind of crimes cannot get away easily. And I think they are.
And not just murdering someone, murdering an innocent human being who had
Yes,
nothing to do with their relationship with
yes,
the other man.
yes,
So
exactly.
he just came in and wanted to get married in the traditional way, but he lost his life to a psychopathic form of, consciousness. Some people who have achieved a consciousness that had almost reached a psychopathic, irrational state of being. I believe that that girl had mentioned it to her mother, in fact, that she loved somebody else, but her mother told her it doesn't matter who you love, you married. she had said, in that case, I'm going to do something that everybody will be sorry for. So, I believe she had told that to her mother as per media reports. And, so she ended up doing something so horrible and a crime that was completely destroyed two families, totally destroyed two families and took away the life of a young man unnecessarily.
And this
Yes.
opens up a
Yeah.
new question where people, I don't know if they will be ready for arranged marriages or not. There will be a lot of questions, and then there will be background checks. I think they could be a very good startup where before marrying, people can have a background check, like most of the organizations
Right.
do these days, where
But
they
but
check
with
the
the
background checks
fact
of
that
the employees.
with Raghuwanshi, cultural situation was so strict that not one of their friends knew. Not any one of the friends that were involved knew that both Sonam Raghuwanshi and this man, I think his name was Raj Kushawa. Raj Kushawa. Yeah, Kushwa. Mr. Raj Kushwa and Sonam Raghuwanshi, the relationship was unknown to any of the people that knew them. The whole social circle that knew them both had no idea that these two had a relationship. So they had hidden that relationship in a manner so that, it was almost as if the Secret Service functions. The way the Secret Service functions, if you send across a Secret Service agent to Pakistan or a Pakistani Secret Service agent to India, the level at hiding the information was so precise. So that means that socially there is an issue. Socially there are people who are afraid of in order to reveal that information. They were scared that people would know. That would have bottled up a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions that could turn to such turbulence. Because I was incapable of controlling those feelings. On the part of feelings, we'd like to talk to Shaji as well. Shaji can tell us the issues of how maybe the courts and more institutions can help in developing a sense of emotional stability, control of jealousy, taking care of the negative emotions and learning how to convert them into positive passion. As Shaji here is a mediator for those who are about to divorce. He has experience in dealing with people who have marital issues and emotional problems and things related to. He has done a few cases like that. And what I'd like to say is that how do you think institutionally we'll be able to help our youth manage these negative emotions and convert them to positive feelings? Because sometimes, undoubtedly, they are boiling pot emotions. Okay, they're converted into a fire, a steam. I believe that Muskan and all had taken her lover to a dance party, although she was the kind of girl who just, never went to a dance party in her life. She took her and her lover went to a dance party. They partied in a pub, although she was the kind of woman who had never gone to a pub. So she moved all across after murdering her husband and putting him inside a cement can and filling it up with cement. I think she had filled it up with cement, if I'm not wrong. But anyway, he was found in a can, and she went around dancing in discotheques and in parties and in pubs and in places like that, and then finally got caught. So with her lover. So yes, Shaj, please tell us institutionally what you think we can do this, even at a personal level, both at the individual level, how you think people can be trained to control these feelings, and how you think institutions can help us help our youth control these feelings.
Thank you, Rahul. I think this is an interesting question. Before going to the details of the issue, may I inform you that don't think about family relations in future like our earlier relations, because
Earlier time. Yes.
Because now we are in another stage of world. The influence of Western culture in India definitely affect our teenagers, our families, our men, as well as women. Being a mediator of several cases in family matters, I think the number of divorces, number of second marriages, number of third marriages are enhancing day by day. In earlier time, we have in India, we have no expectation about stepfather, stepmother, second stepfather, second stepmother. But now it is possible. It is possible,
Right.
and now it is everywhere in our country. So please accept, dear friends, please accept the situation and go ahead accepting these facts. Then only we can move forward. And this is the present cultural system in India.
But I think the first marriage always has a problem with it. Because the first marriage that takes place is the one where all these issues, because parental support comes in, and then after everything gets destroyed, then things change. So then it becomes a different issue altogether here. So
involvement.
should be some institutional support, court-wise or media-wise, or legal-wise, that we can do to assist our youth.
Parental involvements are there, but the main thing to be considered is the relationships of the youngsters. They have multiple relationships at a time.
Right.
Moreover, some have, if before the marriage, if they have 2 or 3 relations before a marriage, definitely that affects their marital relationship. The reason is that they already met with different men or different women before their marriage, and definitely that will affect their marital relationship. Because when they reach into a marital relationship, they have only one partner, and if he is not, there is chance for comparing the earlier relation with the present. Definitely, it will affect the family relation. Moreover, in a landmark decision 2008, the Supreme Court of India declared adultery as unconstitutional. It's not a crime in India, because I think that judgment is in consonance with the relationship in Western countries. That may be the reason, because adultery in Indian Penal Code there was a provision as 497 earlier, and adultery is an offense. But now, after the decision 2018, it declared adultery is not a crime and offense under section 497 is unconstitutional. The reason is that, according to the court, they have the men as well as women have right to have sexual relationship with their own their other than their partners, and it's personal liberty.
Right.
It is against in fact, it is against our culture. In Indian culture, it is against our. In Indian culture, we have a life partner, husband or wife, and children in their relationship. But now the things have been changed drastically. I'm not sure whether Donald Trump has how many children in so many relationships. The reason
I think
is
Donald Trump doesn't have so many. I think his once best friend, now arch enemy, what is his name? Elon Musk. Elon Musk is the one that you are referring to. I think Donald Trump has two wives. Wives or something? One he doesn't.
2 or 3 wives. Melanie is the latest.
I think he had 2 wives. I think if I'm not mistaken.
2 or 3.
2 wives.
3.
I think 3 is Elon Musk, right? If I'm not mistaken. So, anyway, yeah. Go ahead.
In our culture, second wives are only exception. Not
but
not
Shaji, I beg to disagree with this. We are out of time, but I beg to disagree with this. I think Indian culture, one husband, one wife, is fairly new. It is brought mostly by the British. Earlier to that, various communities had their own forms of marriage, and certain communities, like we had different types and styles of marriage. Largely, it was one man to many women, depending on financial status. I feel that the poorer people and the lower people who did not have financial status with them were the ones who ended up marrying 1-to-1. It was really looked down upon in our culture. I think it was the British who brought in that new culture. So like that, because it is definitely St. Paul of the church, who has brought that particular culture in Rome, because Rome was not like that before. And once that was brought in, it slowly took over the Western world, and it slowly over the years came into India also. And I think, like that, we are just moving according to the times these days as well. I would just like to add, I think because we're out of time, I would like to add, institutionally, do you guys think that if we have certain kinds of mechanisms where we promote or we give tax kinds of freedom to movies that promote control of envy, control of hatred between people, communication to the parents in case they have these kind of thoughts and ideas, acceptance by the parents, even if they are angry, acceptance by the parents at some stage, a kind of new kind of images, mental images and psychological images being supported by institutional support like tax freedoms of some sort. So if you usually tax a movie 25 to 30%, you reduce 5% tax or 10% tax for positive emotional control kind of images. So you say there are more images that show positive emotional control over jealousy, over envy, over other kinds of experiences that are causing this kind of destruction of many families. Perhaps, there will be more youth, because it's pretty obvious that people like Muskan and like this Raj Raghuwanshi and Sonam, probably they do not have that level of intellect to analyze and to understand certain things, and were more bestial in their nature, as in more emotional, more suddenly guided by immediate thoughts and feelings of passion that have caused this particular problem. So I think an institutional support like this would be something very, very important. Perhaps to some extent supported by, by legal frameworks and things like that as well that can assist us. Yeah. So guys, it was a wonderful conversation. I don't know, we missed Shaji for a point of time. I think something happened, but anyway, it was a wonderful, talk. And let's hope that our nation finds ways to overcome these kind of problems, this kind of conflict in the minds of our youth and our youngsters. And let's hope that they become emotionally strong and capable and deal in an international world. And, more skilled at handling their own lives and progress of our nation. Yeah, so that's it, guys. And I'd like to thank our audience for listening in, and I'd also like to welcome our audience to subscribe to our channel. If they found our content interesting, we'll be coming up with a lot more new and interesting content. So please do subscribe. Yeah. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
Same to you. Thank you.